Yes, sir.
Thank you, Brigadier. You're saying Colonel Mboto, at the time at which you requested him to come get the statement from accused number 1, he was a station commissioner at Randburg.
Not station commissioner, but branch commander.
Branch commander of the detectives.
Yes.
Colonel Mbata ukuthi kade ku branch commander lapho ke Randburg ngaphansi noma ihola ke abaseshi bamacala.
That he was a branch commander, my lord, not a station commander.
Athi kade ku branch commander ke phakathi ngasiyena u station commander.
Now, do you have a clue as to how long has he been that branch commander? For how long has he been a branch commander?
No.
Ngabe sele ineminyaka engakhi
At Randburg, from the date or on the date on which you requested him to go take statement from accused number 1.
Athi ngabe ngesikhathi lesi bomcela ngaso ekuthizeni ke ezeka athathi istatement sakamsola uqala. Ngabe kade enesikhathi esingangani ke lapho ke uColonel Mboto sele ku branch commander lapha Randburg?
No, my lord, I don't know. So I didn't even know actually that he was a branch commander in Randburg. I only got to know that part when he told me to come and fetch the confession form at Randburg. That's when then I knew that he was now a branch commander. So I didn't know at the time when I called him that he was the branch commander there.
Athi ke ngesikhathi kade amcela kade angazi ukuthi uColonel Mboto kade ku branch commander kepha yena kugcina ekwazi ko ngesikhathi bekamshayela athi akeze ufakazi othatha ke iphepha leli noma iwoni statement kade asithathile uma afika kuyena ke kulawazwa khona ke ukuthi yena sile ku branch commander.
I had a look at his service history in the police. He seemed to have spent most of his time working around the area of Joburg. Most of the time he has been working around the area of Joburg. That is what I could gather from his service history.
Athi lapho kuphethe ke imininingwane yakhe ke manje nesipiloni seminyaka seyisebenzile kathi isikhathi esiningi sokusebenza kwakhe kusebenze ngaphansi kwedolobha laseGoli.
Let me say the greater part of that Joburg area there, including
athi ke usuthi usebenze ngaphansi kwesigodi ke noma mhlawumbe kwendawo yaseGoli ke usuthi mhlawumbe kumadolobha awela ngaphansi kwesigodi saseGoli.
My lord, I can't speak on his behalf. I think he'll be in a better position to answer that.
Athi cha ngeke ngikhona ke ukuthi ngimkhulumeleke kepha yena ke uyena ke ngaba selungelweni ukuthi yena ke aqhamuke bese ke ayikhulumele malana nalophuzu lelo.
Thank you. And you yourself told this court that although you never worked in a case before with him, you knew each other.
Athi wena ke fakazi utshele inkosi enkantolo ukuthi nanoma akaze nisebenze endaweni nobabili ke kepha wena ke kade nisazana.
Yes, I've met him, my lord, when he was a branch commander, I think in Cleveland, some years ago. That's where I knew him from, my lord.
Athi yebo sahlangana ngesikhathi kade ngeke ku branch commander wesikhumulo sasephoyisa sase Cleveland. Athi kula saqala ke ukuhlangana khona ke lapho ke.
Thank you, Brigadier. Now, Brigadier, this was a high-profile case. The death of Senzo was one of the high-profile cases, and the reason why it became such a high-profile case is because it remained it remained something that was troublesome on the bench of the police because they could not specifically arrest the person and charge him and ultimately convict him with the murder of Senzo.
athi icala leli icala ke elikhulu ke icala elikhulu kabi ke ngoba kade bekhuluma ngalo ke maphephandaba noma intatheli kade zikhuluma ngazo ke kepha akukho ke umuntu owaboswa bese ngoba ukuthi aboshiwe ke bese bamshushisa ngaphambi kwenkosi enkantolo bese wagwetshwa ke watholwa necala bese wagwetshwa ke futhi amaphoyisa kwathatha isikhathi esiningi ekuthizeni agcina athola ke ulokhu ukuthi abobani ke ababulala uSenzo Meyiwe
Up until now.
kuze kufike esikhathini samanje.
Yes, I'm listening, my lord.
Athi yebo ngilalele.
Thank you. Now, Brigadier Colonel Mboto, having worked around the area of Joburg, and this case also happening around the greater part of Joburg, would that not have meant that he basically knew the minute that you told him that you worked, we are working on Phosphorus 63610 of 2014. This case has got everything to do with the death of Senzo. Noting that you are saying he was a branch commander in the detective section.
Athi ke usuthi ngesikhathi kona ke kade uxhumana ke naye ke uColonel Mboto ke umtshela ukuthi wena ke usesha icala leli ke lokubulawa kaSenzo Meyiwe icala sephosphorus lecase 636/10 of 2020 ngoba yena kade asebenza ngaphansi kwethimba noma yebo ithimba labaseshi bamacala ke njenge branch commander lapho ke ngaphansi kweNasegoli noma idolobha laseGoli ke usuthi nakade angazi ukuthi wena kade usesha icala leli la kaSenzo Meyiwe.
No, so no, it's not what he said.
Okay.
It's not what he said. But anyway, I follow what he's saying. He may have known, my lord. He was saying Colonel Mboto may have known about the death of Senzo Meyiwe. Yes, I'm saying, my lord, he may have known because it was publicized. Mm-hmm. But he will not have known the contents of the docket because what was out in the media and what was contained in the docket, those are two different things, my lord.
Athi yebo lokho ke mhlambe bekazobe analo ulwazi malana nakho kepha ke indaba engade ngaphakathi kwedokethi bekanganalo ulwazi malana nayo kepha mina nodaba lolu uthi intatheli kade zikhuluma ngakho ke kumaphephandaba mhlawumbe kubomabona kude bekazoba nalo ulwazi ngalokho.
Thank you, Brigadier. And the minute you mentioned to him that the case that I'm requesting you to go and do this confession on is about 63610 of 2014, that served a lot to check his mind. And it served a lot to check his mind and as a pointer to the fact that this could have been the Senzo Meyiwe case, not so?
Athi usinge isikhathi bokhuluma naye umcela ukuthi akulekeleleke malana necala leli la ka case at 636/10 of 2014 ngesikhathi ukhuluma malana necala leli ukuthi lokho mhlawumbe bengeke mhlawumbe kuhambe kungene umcabango wakhe noma kusheshe kufike kumkhumbulo wakhe ethizeni icala leli ke mhlawumbe icala leli lokushona kaSenzo Meyiwe.
No, I don't know what was going through his mind, my lord. I gave him the reference, and so I think the difficulties, I may interpret or think I understand what was going through his mind incorrectly. I'm not in a position to comment or to testify as to what went through his mind.
Athi ke akekho ngaphansi akekho sesimeni sokuthi aphenduleke ukuthi ngabe ngiyini bekayicabanga ke uColonel Mboto kumcabango wakhe ke ngesikhathi baxhumana naye mana nodaba lolu bethi zamlekelele kuleli cala.
Thank you, Brigadier. I think Colonel Mboto would have been the dumbest cop in South Africa to have said that at the time at which you requested him to go and do the confession, he had no knowledge about the death of Senzo. I withdraw the question.
We don't.
I withdraw the question. Thank you.
But that question,
I said I withdrew it, my lord.
yeah, but you can't say something about an officer of the law that would have been the dumbest.
That's not an insult, my lord.
It is.
No, it is not.
You're saying a colonel is the dumbest court in the country if he didn't know about Senzo Meyiwe's death.
The word dumber is not an insult, my lord, unless the court wants to understand
No,
it
I
to
understand it as an
then it's
insult.
fine.
Me, I understand it as an
No,
insult.
thanks, my lord, thanks. Yes.
And I think even Mr. Baloi understands it as such, even Brigadier Geninda.
Yes.
No, but the court cannot put words into the mouth of the state why does the court not ask one of the members of the public?
My Lord, we are rising precisely on that point.
Yeah, I know, because you are responsible officers of this court.
Yeah, but the court can't say even Mr. Baloi understand it in that way.
Any lawyer
Brigadier Geninda
any lawyer will understand
I've got my
it.
colleagues which are seated here and members of the public, the court does not refer to them. Why does the court specifically have to refer to the members of the state?
Yeah, you can go on.
Thank you.
Remember, I said it's obvious that some of our colleagues don't care about etiquette.
Thank you, Brigadier. I'll park this point about Mboto. Be rest assured I'll be coming back to it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, Brigadier, is the court speaking?
No.
Thank you. Now, Brigadier, you have been a passionate reader of the entry books, of the, what do they call it now? Those entries, the OB entries. You told this court that you had gone through the entries at Fileria police station and you could find no information about information relating to the alleged assault that accused number one is crying about, not so?
wathi mnumzana ke ufakazi wakhuluma ngodaba lama entry book ke lapho ke ama occurrence book ukuthi yona ke ngapha ngesikhathi bofunda ke incwadi yakho na ke layo ke akukho la wathola bebhalile khona ukuthi umsola uqala washaya asinjalo.
That's correct, my lord.
Athi yebo kuyiqiniso lokho.
Thank you. You also you basically testified at length about those entries. Now, on the 5th, which is the date of the alleged pointing out of accused number one, which he did before with Khateb, that was the 5th, isn't it? On the 5th of June. I want us to concentrate. Now, you say you made arrangements with Khatebe to come take pointing out from, or to conduct a pointing out with accused number one, so?
Ngelanga la nge-5 zakaJuni kula waqala khona ke babo Khatebe ukuthi zaklekelele ma akusizeke elithizeni umsola oqala enza ukhomba khona.
That is correct, my lord.
Athi yebo kunjalo.
And you also gave him, as you were requesting him, you also gave him the case number.
Ngemuva ukuthi ke umceleke lapho ke bese umupha i-case number yecala.
I'm not sure if I gave him, I don't remember, my lord, because the arrangement was that Sergeant Mokhane will go and book. The request from I may have given him the case number, but the request from Lieutenant Colonel Khatebe was that the accused must be booked in the books of Alberton ACPS, and then he will book the suspect out himself. So what I then did, I gave the telephone numbers of Sergeant Mokhane to Lieutenant Colonel Khatebe and vice versa, so that they can speak to each other and make those arrangements. So I'm not sure whether I may have given him the case number or I left it to Sergeant Mokhane, but I did ask him to assist me.
Athi akanaso isiqiniseko ukuthi ngabe wamupha yini i-case number icala ke lapho ke noma akazama upheke lapho ke kepha ke uSergeant Muthelezwa washo khona ukuthi nakhe lapho ke kwamele ukuthi bambhuke ke ngaphansi kwesibuzo siphoyisa noma isikhumulo samaphoyisa sase-Alberton ke lapho ke uSergeant Mokhane ukuthi umbhuka khona ke bese yena nje lapho kamkhiphe khona ke ahambe naye. Bese wanikeza ke imininingwane inombolo ke wanikeza uMokhane futhi wanikeza nalomunye wesibili ukuthi baxhumane ocingweni.
Thank you. Just a second. I brought the wrong documents. Yeah, I thought I brought documents relating to accused number 1 when I brought everything that is going to do with accused number 2. I did a vice versa. So now I'm struggling to find my documents. It's not like I'm not organized, well organized. Just that it's a human error that can happen to anyone. But nonetheless, Brigadier, let me assure you, let me actually say that you did give him the case number, that Phosphorus 63610 of 2014. You gave it to Khatebe.
Athi ithi yena ke enze ngeqiniseko sokuthi akutshele kutona wamupha kwabo Khatebe ke lapho ke case number iqala Phosphorus is 636/10/2014.
I'm not disputing it, my lord,
Thanks.
because like I said, I may have given it to him as a reference when I asked him, my lord.
Athi yebo kangiphiki ke lokho yebo ngiphiki ngoba kungenza ukuthi ngamupha ke lo case number njenge reference eqala.
Yes, that is on exhibit GG. And further on, Brigadier, you went on to arrange for him a photographer, not so?
Athi futhi uma ngabe qhubeka nenkulumo yakhe ukuthi wena kwahlela ke umuntu othatha izithombe lapho ke for yena uthi abe naye lo muntu lo akusinjalo.
I don't have a recollection of that, my lord. Me, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. That's not what, because then I'm doing the photograph, and according to I can just, it's A159. It is Lieutenant Colonel Hadebe who made this arrangement. It's written, it's paragraph 2 of the photographer who actually took the photos. That would have been a difficulty for me to arrange, because the person doing the pointing out must arrange with the photographer in terms of the meeting points and all that. I was not there, so I could not have arranged that.
Athi yena lokho akakhumbule kwenza ke uma ngabe ibuka lapho ngaphakathi kwemibukiso khona ke 159 ukuthi lapho uColonel Hadebe yena ke wahlela noma owenza ke uhlelo lokuthi ke umuntu othatha izithombe akabe khona ke lapho ke ngoba yena kade angekho ke njengofakazi ngesikhathi ede kusenzeka udaba lolo ke futhi umuntu owenza ke lapho ke khomba futhi yena kumele ukuthi kube uye kohlela ke nomuntu ozofika bese athubule ke izithombe ke lapho.
Thank you, Brigadier. Let us talk about the photographer. You saying a photographer in a pointing out should be arranged by the officer that is going to do the pointing out, not so?
No, I'm not saying he should. I'm saying the difficulty that I would have had is that the photographer must liaise with the person taking the photos. Conducting the pointing out, because they must arrange where they will meet. So if now I do that arrangement,
yes, and
I'm not doing the pointing out, I don't have a recollection, my lord, that I've arranged. That's why I said even the movement of the accused from Valera police station, the instruction was given to Sergeant Mokhane to move accused number 1 to Alberton ACPS, and then Lieutenant Colonel Khadebe's number was given by me to Sergeant Mokhane, and vice versa, the one of Lieutenant Colonel Khadebe to Mokhane to arrange that, because I was out. So I do not have a recollection that I would have arranged this photographer, my lord. I don't have that recollection or remembrance.
Athi ke lapho ke la akasakhumbula akasenako ukukhumbula kahle ukuthi ngabe uyena noma kusuye ke owenza uhlelo lokuthi photographer ke bekhona lapho ngesikhathi kubehamba beyokhomba ke lapho ke ngoba esikhathini esiningi umuntu kusube ke hamba nomsola esikhathini esiningi uma ngabe bekwenza ke ukhomba uhlelo lokukhomba kwabo ke lapho ke kumele ukuthi akhulumisana ke nomuntu othubula ke izithombe photographer ikizimo bazohlangana kuphi nendawo bahlanganele kuphi ke nendawo kepha uyasho ukuthi ama instruction inkulumo eyaphuma ke lapho ke ukuthi uSergeant Mokhane athathe ke umsolo uqala ke lapho ke ngaphansi kwesikhumulo sase-Felleria bese kamthathe kamhambise ke isikhumulo samaphoyisa sase-Albertini ke lapho ke ngesikhathi bekusenzeka lokho ke athi kufakazi wapha ke lapho kuSergeant Mokhane ke inombolo zocingo zakamnomzana uKhadebe ke lapho ke bese wabuya futhi wapha ke babo Khadebe ke inombolo zocingo zakamama uMokhane uSergeant Mokhane ekuzima xhumana ke ucingweni ukuthi ozohlangana kuphi ke nendawo ngasikhathi.
Thank you, Brigadier. Again, the resume is Khadebe's, what is it now? Superintendent, Lieutenant Khadebe It's a colonel, yes. I think it's a colonel now. His resume says that he would have spent a larger portion of his employment in the SAPS working around the greater part of the Gauteng area. I'm saying
My apologies.
Colonel Khatebe's resume, his curriculum vitae, is that he would have spent a greater portion of his working in the police, working around the greater part of Gauteng area.
Athi ke ummeli uma abuka ke CV ka mnumzana uColonel Khadebe ke uColonel esikhathini samanje ukuthi ke lapho ke ngaphansi kohlelo lakho le-CV ukuthi wena kusasebenze isikhathi esiningi noma ke iminyaka eminingi ke esebenza ngaphansi kwedolobha laseGoli noma ngaphansi kumalokishi edolobha laseGoli.
As a court case, my lord, we know we're a bit late. We just found this portion now.
Which one?
Regarding the previous proposition to witness that he arranged for the photographer.
Okay.
That is not correct, my lord.
Yeah, but
that doesn't accord with the record on page 62 of the record of 25 October 2023, where the evidence of Sergeant Mapakela is contained, my lord.
yeah, but it's not even allowed to do it. The law. If you want to see that there's a case, the judgment is written by Govan, who's now in the SCA. Govan and Kruger, where our learned colleague, Brigadier Jininda, talks about the best practice.
Yes.
It's from that judgment. It was in KZN, 1992. It concerns section 217 regarding a police person or a colonel who is situated in a police station, is a colonel, and he takes a confession from a person whom he is actually investigating the case of.
Yes.
That judgment finds that it is not unlawful or illegal. It is just not good practice to do it.
Yes.
It's in that judgment, you can read it.
Yes.
But the law was never changed.
Yes.
Still the same.
Yes.
But it's just that you shouldn't do it.
Yes, and I think in that case the officer who was engaged also was familiar, or he knew of the
quite.
of the facts of the particular case.
Okay.
Yeah, as I say, my lord, we just want to put it on record. The evidence of Sergeant Mapekala in this regard is on page 62.
Page 60?
62.
Yeah, okay.
Proceedings of 25 October 2023.
Okay, fine. Yes.
Thanks, my lord. I will also go and check my records as well. Because my memory says to me that what I put to this witness is not the evidence of Mapakela, it's the evidence of the same witness, of Brigadier Kininda. I'm not speaking about Mapakela. But I'll go and check my notes very properly. Thank you, Brigadier. That is the resume of Colonel Khatebe.
Athi yabonga ke lapho ngoba ke kukwada kukhuluma ke ngenkulumo ekhona ngaphakathi ke ku-CV ka-Colonel Khatebe.
Now, the same analogy goes with Brigadier Mboto. That's now the same situation. He was a high-ranking officer. It will be very strange of him to have come and tell this court that at the time at which he took the confession of he did the pointing out of accused number 2, he would not have known about the death of Senzo, not so.
athi ke kuyasabisa ukuthi ke lapho ke umnumzana ke ukhona lombotho ngesikhathi ke hamba ke nomsolo wesibili ke ukhomba ke khona umsolo wesibili ukuthi nakade engenalo ulwazi ngokushona kaSenzo Meyiwe.
My Lord, my understanding of, in terms of the best practice rule of taking a confession by an independent officer, it's not my understanding that the said officer will not know something that is covered in the media. It talks about in-depth knowledge in the docket. You have to be independent in that. I do not know any provision that says you must be even out of that jurisdiction. In other words, you must be coming from another province. As long as the person is independent insofar as not being part of the investigation, that is independent insofar as I understand it, my Lord.
Athi ke mana nodaba le best practice ke ukuthi lapho ke uma ngaba ke phoyisa ke lapho ke lenalo ke ulwazi uqhamuka ke kuyintathelo mhlawumbe kubomabona kude mhlawumbe lapho komsakazweni ke lapho ke ukuthi na ke kumele ukuthi akhathe confession ke kamsolwa ke lapho ke kepha umuntu ke onolwazi malana nodaba lokusesha kwecala mhlawumbe oyingxenye lethimba lokusesha ke kwecala akumele ukuthi kube uye ukuthatha confession ke lapho ke noma mhlawumbe yasho khona ukuthi mhlawumbe kumele ukuthi mhlawumbe akukho laba basho khona ke ukuthi umuntu othatha confession kumele kube umuntu eqhamuka kwesinye ke sifundazwe noma kwenye ke province.
Brigadier, you answering something that is for you answering a question that you are imagining in your mind. My question is, it would have been very strange of him to come and tell the court that at the time at which he did the pointing out with accused number 1, he would not have known about the death of Senzo, not so.
Athi ke lapho kuyasabisa ke mhlawumbe kuyamangaza ukuthi ke eze ngaphambi konkosenkantolo thulufakazi bakhe ke athi ngesikhathi lesibekahamba nomsolo uqala umsoqala ehamba yokhomba khona ke lapho ke lento kade yokhomba khona ke na ke kade enganalo ulwazi mana necala leli kubani washona kwicala leli.
My Lord, I'm not imagining things. I'm following what Advocate Minisi was saying. So to say I'm imagining things, I don't know where that is coming from, because my understanding of where that question was going is that these two officers could not claim, that is the essence of it, that they've got no knowledge of this case. And that is why I was going straight to the point that the best practice rule simply means you are not part of the investigation. That is different knowing about a highly publicized case in the media. So those are two different things. And I'm going straight to the point where Advocate Minisi is going. But if you want me now to talk straight to the question that is asking me, I can't speak on behalf of the two officers. It is them who can then answer him in that question.
Athi yena asukuthi mhlawumbe ukhuluma ke izinto ayicabanga ke ayicabangela zona ke lapho ke kepha ke mana nodaba le best practice rule ukuthi ke umuntu ke oyingxenye mhlawumbe umuntu ongaphansi kwethimba ke labaseshi akumele ukuthi kube uye ke wenza ke udaba lolo kulema confessions kepha kumele kube umuntu ke oyimele lapho oyisebenzelayo noma usebenza ngaphansi kuze siphoyisa kepha ongenalo kulwazi ukuthi yini eqokethiwe ngaphakathi kwedocket futhi uyasho khona njalo ukuthi mana nodaba lamaphoyisa kamabili laba kathi umnumzana uMnisi uyakhuluma ngawo ke yena ke angeke akhona ukuthi abesesimeni sikahle sokuthi awakhulumele kepha kungaba yibo ke bangabuya bakhulume kahle ukuthi mhlawumbe ngabe kade benalo ke ulwazi malana nalo kade kubhaliwe ke ngabo ayintatheli malana necala leli.
Brigadier Kininda, I'm not talking of two police officers here. I'm talking about Khatebe. So I hear you saying the two police officers that Minisi is talking about. I'm talking about Khatebe. Can you please understand the question? Answer according to the question. And don't try to read my mind. It's a very complicated thing. You'll never be able to hit that level, Brigadier. I'm simply saying to you, it would have been very strange for Khatebe to have come to this court and say, at the time at which he took the confession, they did the pointing out with accused number 1, he would not have known about the death of Senzo.
Athi uyacela ukuthi ungakhulumi udaba lamaphoyisa amabili ngoba yena kakhulumile udaba lamaphoyisa amabili ke kepha bakhuluma ngephoyisa ke lodwa lapho komnomzana kuKhatebe lapho ke ukuthi kuyamangaza mhlawumbe kuyasabisa ukuthi eze ke enkantolo ke asho ukuthi namhlanje kade anganalo kolwazi ngokushona ke kwaMsolo mhlawumbe kwakumufika lapho Senzo Meyiwa ngesikhathi bekahamba nomsolo uqala ehamba eyokhomba la kade eyokhomba khona.
My Lord, I've already answered the question. I cannot speak on what Lieutenant Colonel Khatebe will come and say if this question is posed to him. That is the first part.
athi lapho ke ngeke khona ukukhuluma ke ukhulumela ke umnumzana uColonel Radebe uthi yena ke mhlawumbe ngafika akhulume inike uma ngaba lo mbuzo angaze awubuzo.
That is better.
The second part, my lord, when I referred to the two officers, is because before we got to Colonel Radebe, the same assertion was put to me about Colonel Mboto, that he was working local or he spent most of his career around Johannesburg. Now the same resume is given about Colonel Radebe. How is it now wrong when I say I cannot speak on behalf of these two police officers, because it's under the same context that is being put to me?
athi ke udaba lokuthi akhulumeke amaphoyisa amabili ukuthi eqala ukukhulumile ngomnumzana uColonel Mboto ke lapho ke bese kwesibili babuya futhi bakhuluma ke lapho ke ngomnumzana uColonel Radebe lapho ke kula khona bakhuluma esithi khona ke ngeke khona ukukhulumela amaphoyisa amabili ke lapho ke athi bezama ukusho khona njalo noma bezama ukusho lokho ke ekuthizeni uma ngabe lokho ngikudinga ukuthi kuphenduleke lapho ke kumele ukuthi babizwe bese babuzwe ke imibuzo leyo ke.
Now, have you known him prior to the day on which you requested him to go take a pointing to do a pointing out like number one?
Ngabe kade umazi qala ngaphambi ukuthi ukumcela ukuthi ahambeke nomsolo oqala ngesikhathi umsolo oqala bekahamba yokhomba.
Yes, I've known him as a police officer, my lord. That's correct.
Athi yebo kade ngimazi njengephoyisa.
Thank you. Now, when you gave him that case number 63610 of 2014, false lorries, that had a potential to jog his mind and serve as a pointer as well, that this had to do with the death of Senzo. Not so?
Bathi ngesikhathi esibumpa ke case number elapha eFosloras 636 case 636 of 10/2014 lapho mhlambe bozoshesha kukhumuza umcabango wakho ukuthi leli cala laseFosloras futhi naqala kade kwashona khona kusenze moyiwa ngaba kusenjalo yini?
My lord, I can't testify about the state of mind of Colonel Radebe.
Atlapha ngeke khona ukukhuluma ke ngomcabango kaColonel Radebe ukuthi kade acabanga ini noma kade kungasinde kade lekade acabanga.
Thank you, Brigadier. Now, after you gave him that number, Fosloras case 636, 10 of 2014, then Radebe says to you, where is the accused? Not so.
Bathi ngesikhathi ke kuqeda ukuphala lapho komnumzana uRadebe ke case number seFosloras case 636/10/2014 ngabe akaza kubuza ukuthi ngabe kuphi umsolwa yini?
I don't have a recollection of that. All I recall, my lord, I don't know how the conversation really went because I can't remember verbatim. What I do recall is that he made a request that the accused must be kept, must be booked. His specific request to me is that he must be booked, not just kept. He must be booked in the holding cells of Albertine SAPS, and he will do the arrangements moving forward. And that is why I asked then Sergeant Mukhane to assist with this movement, my lord. That's the content of our conversation.
Athi ke ngeke abe naso isiqiniseko ngogcwele ukuthi kahle kahle inkulumo yabo kade imayelana nani noma mhlawumbe kade iqukethe ini ke kuyona ke ngokuqondile mhlawumbe okusana ke emuva ngokuthi ashaya isikhungosini ke lapho ke kepha ke into eyenzeka ukuthi ngicela ukuthi ke lapho umsola kumele ukuthi bambhuke ngaphansi kwama holding cells ase-Albertine ke lapho ke futhi athina kulapho khomsana khona no Sergeant Mukhane ekuthizeni kahambise komsola bese amnikise ke kwisikhumulo samaphoyisa sase-Albertine la kade khona ke uyena azohlangana naye khona ke lapho kumnumzana uRadebe umsola bese baqhubeke benza umsebenzi wabo phela phambili.
That's not in dispute, Brigadier. At that moment, the accused is in detention at Fileria in Pretoria, not so?
Bathi ngesikhathi leso umsolo wakhe bayalana ePretoria ngaphansi kwesikhumulo samaphoyisa saseFileria kusenjalo?
That is correct, my lord.
Athi yebo kunjalo.
Thank you. And he says to you, no, Brigadier, can you please arrange that the accused should be detained at Albertine police station where I will go see him, not so?
bathi ngemuva kwalokho ke usho ukuthi ubaba umnumzana okhade bese watshela ukuthi yena cethu wenze ke uhlelo ukuthi ke umswane emthatha la ePitoli bese nimikise ke kusikhumulo samaphoyisa sase-Albertine la yena la kade ezohlangana naye khona akusinjalo.
No, it's not flowing like that, my lord. It's not a question where he said remove him from Valeria SCPS, because I don't think we even got there. And it was the same principle with Colonel Mboto. When he said, I can assist, bring the accused at this place. They don't worry where the person is coming from. They're assuming you're in control of the person. They just indicate where it will be convenient. So with Colonel Khadebe, the understanding was that he wants the accused to be detained, and then he will do the booking of the accused out. And that's all that's requested. As to where the person was, I don't think we got them, my lord. What was prevalent is that he's willing to assist, and he wants the accused person, accused number one, to be taken to Alberton, detained. He never gave me the reason why he wants to do it like that and why he chose Alberton, but that's the request, and I complied with that.
Athi yena akazi mhlambi kade kungaphansi kwezathu noma izathu zini ezakhokhela kulelo daba ke lolo ke kepha yena athi uyimisele ukuthi abalekelele ke noma asize ke lapho ke umnomzana oHadebe ke lapho ke bese washo khona nje mhlambi washo khona nje abamlethe ngaphansi kwesikhumulo samaphoyisa sase-Albertine la yena bazohlangana naye khona ke lapho ke ngemuva ukuthi bambhukhile lapho ke noma bemgcine khona ke kuma holding cells akhona ke lapho ke bese yena ke bazofika lapho kahlangana naye khona ke bese baqhubeke benza umsebenzi wabo bobabili.
He says to you, can you please cause the accused to be detained at Alberton police station? In other words, arrange that the accused should be brought at Alberton police station.
Usuthi wathi yena ke amanye amagama akhe xa uthi wenze uhlelo ukuthi yena ke umsolo abamikise ngaphansi kwesikhumulo sase-Albertine akusinjalo?
That is correct, my lord.
Athi yebo kunjalo.
Thank you. And you say you did not ask him the reason why.
Enothize ukawukaze umbuze isizathu sokuthi kungani bekafisa noma bekafuna ukuthi umsolo animikise ngaphansi kwesikhumulo sasephoyisa sase-Albertine.
No, it was not necessary, my lord, to ask. I made a request if he can assist in doing the pointing out. He agrees. He chooses the police station and he says this person must be detained there. He will book him out. Those are formal structures. In fact, I was comfortable with that idea that he prefers the accused number one to be detained and he book him out himself, taking the process from there. So that request for me, as much as we didn't discuss it, it actually sat with me very well because he's not receiving him from hands. He's actually booking him out from the holding cells.
Athina akaza kubona ukuthi kubalekile yini ukuthi zakubuzeke lokho ke kepha yena kwasho khona njalo abamnikise ngaphansi kwesikhumulo samaphoyisa sase-Albertine bese ngemva kwalokho siyena bambhukheke lapho ke ahlale khona kalale khona mhlawumbe ahlale khona ke lapho ke bese ke bazomkhipha khona ke ahambe naye ngesikhathi sibeka hamba ayokhomba lapho ke.
Thank you, Brigadier. I'm going to put it to you the reason why he requested that accused should be detained at Alberton police station. Because from Alberton police station to Forster's is only 20 kilometers. And he knew that from Alberton, we will be driving to Forster's in view of the information, the case number that you gave him.
Athi uzokutshela isizathu ukuthi kungani kwenzeka lokho ke ukuthi uqhamuka lapha eAlbertine uhamba ke uye eForster's futhi uhamba ke umgama oku-20 kilometers lapho ke futhi bekazi ukuthi nani zohamba ke eForster's ke ngemuva kokuthi bumnikile lapho ke case number icala.
My lord, as I've said, I'm going to answer it in twofold. One, I've indicated I cannot speak on behalf of Colonel Khadebe. I don't know how will he deal with this because I'm being told what he knew. I don't know where is the so it's a difficult position for me to say. That is the first part. But if we are talking about the distance, the closest police station in Forster's, there is a police station. Closer to Forster's, there is Katlohong, Ramukunupi, West police stations. Alberton is the furthest if you compare to the two. In Forster's itself, where this incident happened, there is a Forster's police station. So the logic of a distance on those bases doesn't sit well. But that being said, my lord, Colonel Khadebe have said he may be then a better person to deal with the issues of what was going through his mind when he made such a suggestion, my lord.
athi lapho ke lo mbuzo kodwa ubuziwe uzophendula ke ngendlela ezimbili ezahlukile. Indlela yokuqala ukuthi ke lapho ke yena akakazi ukuthi kade kuyini ngaphansi komcabango kaMnumzana uColonel Radebe ngesikhathi athi senze isicelo leso ukuthi umsolo abamnikise ngaphansi kwesikhumulo sesiphoyisa saseAlbertine. Futhi na ufakazi athi angeke amkhulumeleke lapho ke uMnumzana uColonel Radebe uma ngabe inkosi enkantolo ifisa ukubuza lo mbuzo loyo ke kumele mhlawumbe bambize ngoba uyena ke ozoba ngaphansi kwesimo esiqondile ekuthizeni aphendule malana nodaba lombuzo loyo ke. Futhi uma phela uma ejobela ke impendulo yakhe malana nodaba lohlelo lesibini uma iphela umbuzo lokho ukuthi ke lapho ke malana nebanga mhlawumbe ugama khona ke lapho ke phakathi kweAlbertine kuyofika lapho eFosloras ukuthi ke isikhona ke isikhumulo samaphoyisa seduze ke lapho ke eKatlehong bese sikhona ke sesibili ke eFosloras ukuthi u20 kilometers umgama khona mhlawumbe uqhelana kwindawo lezi ezimbili ke lapho ke akusukuthi mhlawumbe kade kuyinto leyo bengenzeka nanoma kunjani ke lapho ke kepha ke kushuthi bekumele uma ngabe kukhuma ngama distance ke lapho ke bamnikisa apha eKatlehong noma ke eFosloras.
And this basically simply aligns with accused number one's explanation that when they went to the pointing out, he never gave them any directions. They are the ones who took him there.
Athi lapho ke hambisana ke nenkulumo eqhamuka komsolo oqala ukuthi ngesikhathi bahamba beyokhomba ke lapho ke athi nakakaze abanikeze imininingwane yamakhili kepha ke ibona abamnikisa ke lapho ke kulowo makhili.
My Lord, I think Colonel Radebe can deal with that part as well as the photographer. What I can testify about is that in Exhibit GG, that is the photograph, the album that was taken by the captain from LCRC, you can clearly see accused number one pointing to the scene which I indicated to this court, my Lord, that I visited. And that address is 13511 Kutlwano Street, which is the crime scene where the deceased in this matter was shot. The second address, that is the place that is pointing out, it's on the tar road, that is at Basutuni Hostel. That's what I can see here in the photos. He is pointing. No one is pointing for him. He is himself pointing, and the photos are contained in this exhibit GG, my Lord.
Athi ke ufakazi ke lapho ke ukuthi lapho ke ukuthi umuntu wathula ke ithombe ke lapho ke uthi nokhona lahade usikumele kube yibona abazayo abazokhuluma kamalana nodaba lolo ke kepha athi uma ngaba ubuka ngaphansi kwemibukiso kaGG ngaphakathi kwezithombe ke lapho ke ukhona la khona ke umsola kwizithombe ezimbili la kade akhomba khona ke kwindawo ezahlukene futhi la ke bonakala khona ke ucecebha khona ukuthi la yena ke kade bengakhombi malana naye kepha uyena kade akhomba ke lapho ke tshengisa ke abantu malana nendawo lena ke la kwashola khona ke umufi futhi indawo yesigameko futhi enye yesibili ke indawo lapho ke ngaphansi kwendawo yaseBasuphini Hostel kusho ukuthi lapho ke kade kuyena mathupha umsola oqala kade akhomba kusukuthi kade khona kumuntu othizini la kade akhombe khona ke qala.
The brigadier, let us start here. You said you visited that scene. In other words, you did your own personal inspection in local.
Bese kufakaza umkhohlezi ukusho ukujobela ukufakaza thina lapho ke naye waya ke mathupha nemana nodaba lolu ke lwendawo lezi ke manje kumele uyabuza ukuthi wena ke fakazi wahamba wavakasha kule ndawo lezi ezahlukene ngithize kade mhlawumbe usenzeka ucwaningo lomsebenzi wakho mhlawumbe usatsha kwecala.
My Lord, the answer is yes, in collaboration, and I think I dealt with this part, that after the confessions, both the one from Colonel Mboto, the pointing out and the photos were taken, a process that I embarked on with the team was to corroborate what was contained in the confession. I needed to know what place is he pointing and how material it is to the case, and that is why I was able to confirm that the place that is pointing is the crime scene where the victim was shot. That is the house of the Kumalos. The other place is the main road next to Basutuni Hostel, because I had to do a physical visit in the corroboration of what was contained here and other things in his confession document, my Lord.
Athi kufazi uma iphendula mana nodaba lolo kusho ukuthi yebo empeleni nake ngimuva ukuthi wathola ke confession bese wabuya thola ke ithombe lezi ade thutshuliwe ke lapho uma ezathathwa ke lapho ke lo muntu bamhlwe umuntu othobe ithombe ephotographer ngesingisi ke ngesikhathi eqeda thola leyo nkulumo mhlawumbe lobo ufakazi lobo ke ukuthi ngeke wahamba wenza ukusesha kwecala lakhe ethi yaxhumanise ufakazi ade aphethe ukuthi ngabe mhlawumbe uqondile futhi uyaxhumana noma ufakazi wabo usho ukuthi kuyahambisana ngesikhathi lesi bekaphola ke lapho ke ukuthi ngeke wahamba wavakasha kule ndawo lezi ezimbili ezahlukene lezi ndawo ezimbili ezahlukene izona ke umsolo oqala awayikhomba ke indawo lezo ke usho lapho ke indawo yokuqala kade ayikhombile lapho usuthi indawo yokuqala kade ayikhombile ke lapho usuthi ilo muzi ke walapha kwakhumalo umuzi lathi kade kwehla khona ke isigameko ke ukuthi indawo yesibili bekayikhombi lapho ke lo mgwaqo omkhulu lapho usuthi main road noma umgwaqo nje omkhulu ke lapho ke oseduze nalapho ke basuthwini hostel.
Brigadier, let me help you very quickly. That inspection in loco of yours is invalid. It does not assist this court because that is self-corroboration. There's no evidence that came from the same Mr. Khatebe when he conducted the pointing out that has been placed before court, which indicate that when accused number one is pointing this, this is what was happening, and he was pointing this. When in photo number 2, accused number 1 is pointing this. In photo number 3, accused person is pointing that. In other words, the notes of the pointing out are not there.
Actually, notaba nomzana ke noma le inspection in loco owayenza ukuthi nake udaba olungekho futhi olungamukelekile ngembangela ukuthi ngesikhathi leso umnomzana okhadebe kade ehamba ke ukhomba ke noma etshengiswa ke umsola oqala ke lapho ke malana nezinto kade amtshengisa zona ukuthi awekho ama notes abhaliwe ukuthi ngesikhathi umsola bekakhomba lokho kushuthi lokho bekusho ilokho nalokho ya.
Let me finish. Those are just photos where accused number 1 is seen pointing and pointing and pointing. But as to the essence of what is pointing, there's no content.
Athi ke lapho ke suthi lapho ke ithome nje kuphela lezi ejengakala khona ke umsola oqala akuzona ke ngesikhathi bekakhomba futhi eqhubeka yakhomba ekhomba ngoba akukho lokubhaliwe okhethekile ukuthi mala ngesikhathi esibekakhomba lapho ke kusho ukuthi bekakhomba lokhu nalokhu ya.
So your little self corroboration does not assist this or will not assist this court. That's going to be my argument.
Athi kuba inkulumo yakhe ngaphansi kwenkulumo uma ngabe phikisana nethimba labeshushisi ukuthi le ndaba yokukhulumela ukuthi ayihambisane uma ayiqondile ayishayile isikhumbusini.
I disagree, my lord. That assertion is incorrect. If you look at the pointing out form that was completed by Colonel Khatebe, there's a proforma, there's annexures of notes. So it is actually even incorrect to say there were no notes because Colonel Khatebe made notes and the accused, the deponent signed. Now, the last paragraph, just the second paragraph before the last, reads as follows, my lord. I pointed out the two places, the house where the shooting took place and the spot where I was dropped off after the shooting to Lieutenant Colonel Khatebe. This is just one paragraph, my lord, but prior to this, there are paragraphs which Colonel Khatebe wrote, taking them from accused number 1. So it is incorrect to say there's no pointing out, there's no notes accompanying the photos that indicates accused number 1 pointing. I was corroborating what was said here, but there are notes by the Colonel which indicates exactly what accused number 1 was pointing.
Athi lapho ekuthizeni ke udaba lokuthi awekho ama notes abhaliwe mhlawumbe inkulumo ebhaliwe ke ngemuva ukuthi lapho umsola oqala ke ekhombile lapho ekhomba khona ke izinto lezi azikhomba ke etshengisa ke lapho ke umnumzana uColonel Khatebe aqona iqiniso ngoba ke akhona ke ama notes abhaliwe lapho ke ngaphansi kwekhasi lapho la ka AR 142 la bakhuluma khona kuma ngabuka ke lapho ke paragraph yesibili umqhamuka lapho ngenzansi ke khona ke la ibhala ngalendlela elandelayo ukuthi mina ngakhomba ke indawo ezimbili ke lapho ke into yokuqala ke umuzi la kade kudutshulwa khona ke bese ke indawo yesibili wayikhomba ke lapho ke suthi indawo la dena bamshiya khona ke ngemuva ukuthi kade kudutshuliwe ke kulo muzi indawo lezo zimbili bekayikhomba ayitshengisa ke lapho ke umnomzana uColonel Khatebe.
Brigadier, I won't take this aspect with you. You clearly do not know how pointing out must be conducted. From the answers that I'm getting from you, you clearly don't know how the pointing out should be conducted. But thanks. Let us proceed.
No, I disagree. I know exactly how a pointing out should be conducted, my
Okay,
lord. But
thank you.
in this instance, I'm responding to the assertion that said there were no notes.
Okay.
And
So
the
there are
here.
notes.
There are notes, my lord.
Okay.
my lord.
athi lapho uphelela udaba lokuthi na awekho ama-notes abhaliwe lapho kade akhona-ke ama-notes abhaliwe-ke lapho-ke ngemuva ukuthi kade behambile kumsolo wokuqala futhi umnumzana ucolonel Radebe ngesikhathi umsolo wokuqala kade yahamba kuyokhomba ke ndawo ezimbili lezi-ke ey'tshengisa-ke lapho-ke umnumzana ucolonel Radebe.
Thank you, Brigadier. I earlier on indicated that you were passionate about reading OB entries. You actually told this court a lot about OB entries, not so?
athi kuqala bakade bekhuluma ngodaba lwama-OB entries la nathize la kade ukhuluma khona ke inkulumo eningi uyitshela ke inkosi enkantolo kusenjalo yini?
Yeah, but my lord, yes, I did speak about OB, but it should be taken in the context of the question that I was dealing with, because we're dealing with a specific incident of a specific time relating to an allegations of assault. And I was moving in that sequence that if you move from that day or the incident of that assault and you flow on that incident, there are no records. For example, with accused number one, specifically, my lord, I have said from the time he was detained in Valeria on the 31st, the morning hours, to the time that he was taken to court on the 1st of June, there were no entries that indicates that he was assaulted. He reported an assault, because we're dealing with accused number one, my lord.
athi lapha ngesikhathi lesi ufakazi beyakhuluma noma nodaba lama-occurrence book noma ama-entry book lapho-ke kungemuva kokuthi ake khona kombuzo uqhamukile mhlawumbe umbuzo kade bewubuzile-ke lapho-ke futhi bathi behamba-ke ngalolo hlangothi lapho ngesikhathi bekaphendula mayelana nodaba lolo-ke uma ngabe khuluma ngodaba lolo shuthi ngelanga lange-31 zakaMeyi-ke lapho-ke ngaphambi ukuthi umsolo-ke aqhamuke ngaphambi kwesenkantolo noma mhlawumbe enkantolo-ke ngelanga lokuqala kwenyanga kaJuni-ke lapho-ke kukuthi ngaphansi kwencwadi abayibiza ukuthi occurrence book laba bhala khona ke ngaphansi kwezikhumulo zesiphoyisa uma ngabe egcina ke abasula khona ukuthi lapho-ke akukho la kubhalwa khona-ke ukuthi umsolo oqala washawa noma yena kade akhulumile ukuthi yena kushayiwe mhlawumbe ukuthi khona-ke into eyenzeka kuyena-ke uma ngabe ekhuluma ngodaba lwani lwama-occurrence book futhi udaba lwaliqhamuke la khona kade besho khona kade kuney'nsolo khona-ke ezokuthi umsolo oqala wakhuluma washo ukuthi-ke ngesikhathi belapho-ke kuma-holding cells washaywa-ke.
My lord, may I just request an indulgence just to confirm one point with accused. Thank you for the indulgence, mother. Thank you, sir. There's a stack of papers here that we received from the state, but I think I'm not so sure what exhibits are these, but I'll try the best that I can. There's an OB entry from Fileria that has got the date of the 5th of June 2020. Actually, it says it's written there, Fileria in bracket MCB. I wonder if the state can assist us. I'm told that this is exhibit N.
athi kumabuka kunamaphepha ke amaningi ke awatholile eqhamuka kwithimba labashushisi ke lapho ke esho khona ukuthi lapho kumabuka lapho ngaphansi kwembukiso ka-NN khona la babhale khona ke ngaphansi kwephepha lelo babhale ukuthi fileria bese kuma-bracket babhale ukuthi lapho ke MCB yake ilanga lapho ke i-5 zakaJune ngomnyaka ka-2020.
Exhibit NN, there's a date there, the 5th of June 2020.
athi ilanga elibhaliwe lapho ke langa i-5 zakaJune ngomnyaka ka-2020.
I don't have an extra copy. Maybe the state can assist us so that you're able to follow as we proceed. Now, on the 5th, there's an entry there, entry number.
My apologies, my lord.
Sorry.
The witness is making mention of something pertaining to the date.
Yeah, the date. I've got the date of the 22 here, not the 5th. I see Advocate Minisi is referring to the 5th.
Yeah, 5th of June.
Is it here? On the other side. Just give it to the advocate. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
On the 5th of June 2020, which is written Friday here, there's an entry there, entry number 326/345. It's right at the bottom. That's the last entry.
Ilanga lange-5 zakaJune kune-entry khona ke lapho ke 326 futhi no-345 izona esenzansi egcineni ke lapho ke.
I see that, my lord.
Thank you.
Yebo ngiyayibona ke leyo.
Now, the time there, it's 1 minute past 8 o'clock in the morning, not so?
That is correct, my lord.
But isikhathi esikhona ke lapho umzuzu nje owodwa ke ngemuva kwehora laka-8 ekuseni athi yebo iqiniso.
Now, it reads, investigation out. Sergeant Mohale with 1 mail for dealing in drugs. And then it continues to the next page.
Bathi lababhala khona ukuthi uSergeant Mohale futhi umunye ke oyedwa ke bahambile. Pardon.
The next page, it's still the 5th of June 2020. And it's still entry number 326.
My apologies. La khona babhala ukuthi khona kuSergeant Mohale futhi noyedwa ke lapho bathi udayisa ke idakamizwa mhlawumbe ukuthola ngedakamizwa.
Thank you.
Bese ku-entry esibili elandelayo ke.
Now the following page says 326.
Yes.
Lapho kule entry ka-326
Moses Themba Sibia, SAP 1401/06/2020. SAP 14 A5 R508628 and case 21703 of 2019, no injuries, correctly received. In other words, the person who correctly received this Ms. Themba Sibiya is the person who signed there. I don't know whose signature is that one, but I can assume because it's been booked out by this Mukhale, it's the signature of Mukhale, not so.
Bathi ke lapho kuma ngabe ubuka lapha ngaphansi kwale intro khona ke intro ka 326 lapho ke babhale khona lapho ukuthi ngaphansi kwephuzu lokuqala bathi Moses Themba Sibiya ke was the SAP 14 01 0106 2020 was the SAP 14A close bracket bathi lapho ke R5086208 as a case lapho ke suthi 217/03/2019 bathi akukho umuntu olimele ke lapho noma akalimele yena ke bathi umuntu owamthola ke lapho ke athakazi ubani kosayindile ke lapho ke kepho ecaba ukuthi mhlawumbe umuntu odamthola ke lapho ke uSergeant Mokhane akusinjalo yini?
Yes, it is correct, my lord.
Athi yebo kweqiniso kunjalo.
Now let us make some corrections here. It says the person, it's indicated there that is Sergeant Mukhale. Would that be Sergeant Mukhula, your team member?
Atlapho bhala ukuthi Sergeant Mokhale usuthi ngabe mhlawumbe benze iphutha bakhohlwa ukubhala ukuthi lapho Sergeant Mukhula osebenza ngaphansi kwethimba lakho.
No, it's Sergeant Mokhane. That is the member that I asked to move accused number 1 from Valera SAPS to Alberton SAPS. So it's Sergeant Mokhane. That's a male. Sergeant Mukhula is a female.
Athi cha kusinjalo lapho kuSergeant Mokhane futhi yena kwamcela ahambise komsolo oqala amsuse ngaphansi kwesikhumulo samaphoyisa saseFeleria esamahambisa ke lapho la kade amhambisa khona ke Albertine ke lapho ke futhi esho khona ukuthi uSergeant Mokhale ke umuntu ke wesilisa ke lapho ke bese uSergeant Mukhula wesimanje.
So for record purposes, the correct annotation should have been, or the entry should have been Sergeant Mokhane.
Yes.
Put him out.
Yes, the signature is the one of Sergeant Mokhane because I know it, my lord.
Oh,
it's
okay,
the one that
thank
signed
you.
for him.
Athi yebo ke umuntu osayindile ke lapho kuSergeant Mokhane ke ngoba yazi ukuthi uyena ke osayina ngalendlela asayine ngayo ke ngalana ke.
Thank you. Now, still on the same date, 05/06/2020, at entry number 326/345, Sergeant Mokhane brings the accused back on the same date. Not so. Are you at 18:01? That is now 6:01 in the afternoon.
Correct.
Thank you.
Otlapho ke suthi ngemuva komzuzu owodwa ke emaqedesha ehora lesithupha lapho uSergeant Mokhane uyambuyisa ke futhi so yena ombhukayo athi yebo kunjalo.
Now let's go to the Alberton OB book, occurrence book, Alberton occurrence book. I think it's in the same pile of papers there. Oh, I'm told it's exhibit KK.
Bacela ke sele ngaphansi kwe occurrence book yaseAlbertine athi exhibit KK ke loyo ke.
Now, there's entry. Are you with me, Brigadier?
Yes,
Thank you. There's an
I'm with
entry
you.
317/326.
Yes,
Yes.
I can see that, my lord.
Yeah.
Athi entry ke lapho ke 317 futhi ngaphansi kwabhala ukuthi 326 athi yebo nginawe ke lapho.
Now that's an Alberton occurrence book, and then it reads 12 o'clock. That is midday. The suspect handed in for pointing out by Sergeant Mokhane of National Court Cases Investigation Unit The name of the suspect is written there as Moses Temba Sibia. There's a case number 63610 of 2014, which is murder in bracket force arrest. And it's noted they're free from visible injuries. Are we together there?
Yes, we are, my lord.
Thank you.
athi yebo sama sodwa nawe ke lapho ke ukuthi labo babhale khona ke ngaphansi isikhathi 317 ilokuzana enter khona uthi 326 ukuthi isikhathi lapho ke 12 semini ke lapho ke bathi ke umsola kwamikiswa lapho ke uSergeant Mukhane ngemuva ukuthi kade bezokhomba ke lapho ke ukuthi uSergeant Mukhane qhamuka lapho ke ku national court cases ke lapho ke ukuthi umseshi wecala ke lapho ke use investigating unit igama likamsola lapho ku Moses Tembe Sibiya ke lapho uqhamuka ngaphansi uqalile leka 636 /10/2014 icala lokubulala ke cala indawo elenzeka khona bathi phosphorus la wathi kade ankungekho ke ukulimala de kubonakala ke kuyena ke athi yebo ngikusalimuva.
Thank you. Now, Brigadier, you said that you had gone through these occurrence books in view of the allegations of assault that were made by accused number 1. Did you also go through this entry?
Athize wona kwafundile ke occurrence book mana nodaba lakamsolo oqala la kade nathi athize khona ke bekashaya khona ke manje umuzo ukuthi ngabe le entry ngokhethekile wayifunda.
My lord, we are getting now to the pointing out only today. Previously, because I need to move, and Advocate Minisi said he wants to lead me. I can't now run astray. We were dealing with the assault in relation to the day of his arrest and when he made a confession to Colonel Mboto. And the occurrence book that I refer to relate to that. Now we've moved to the 5th. That is the day of the pointing out. I've not commented on the OPs on those days, but I can see in terms of what I've read in terms of the Valeria when he was booked out, and when he was booked in Alberton and booked out to Valeria, that also there he had no injuries. But this is the first time now I'm referring to it. But previously, yes, I've read the OBs, but insofar as the testimony that is before court, being led by Advocate Minisi, I've only dealt previously with the detention OBs after his first arrest, right up to the time when he went to court for the drug dealing matter on the 1st of June, which contained no injuries. The second part that now I'm dealing with of the pointing out, that starts in Valeria to Alberton, out of Alberton back to Valeria. So far, these ones also, there are no injuries documented.
athi ke lapho ke uma ngabe khuluma ngokushaka uma kade aphendula ke ngokushaya malana nodaba la kade khona amsolo oqala bakathi ushaya khona ke kade khuluma udaba le confession futhi ngesikhathi esimsolo oqala baboshwa ngaso ke futhi ngesikhathi esimsolo oqala kade bemvalela ngaso ke ngaphansi kwama holding cells alapho ke kusikhumulo samaphoyisa la tavala khona kuze futhi ngesikhathi lesi baqhamuka ngaphambi kwenkantolo ukuthi lapho kuma efuna kuma occurrence book kwakhona ke lapho akukho la kubhalwa khona ke ukuthi umsolo oqala washaya khona ke mhlawumbe kade alimele khona ke ngesikhathi ekusenzeka zonke ke igama lezo zokuthi yena ke kade bushiwe wahamba wakusikhumisa amaphoyisa bese ngemuva kwalokho wahamba enkantolo ke futhi yasho konje ukuthi yasho khona njalo fakazi ukuthi lapho ke umnumzana umnisi uyena damhola ke ngemibuzo ke lapho ke futhi uma ekhuluma ngodaba ke lwale occurrence book lena ke lapho yalaphathini futhi nodaba le occurrence book lapho ke efeleria ke lapho ke uyasho khona ukuthi uma ke ifunda akukho la kubhaliwe khona ukuthi umsolo oqala washaya.
And the reason, my lord, the last part, the reason I'm saying I'm moving them step by step as I'm being led by Advocate Minisi is because there's no assertion at this stage where I'm being told by Advocate Minisi that accused number 1 was assaulted to do the pointing out. So that is why I dealt with what he was putting to me, that he was assaulted insofar as the confession that he made to Colonel Mboto. Insofar as this assertion from Advocate Minisi directly, I have not been told that he's been assaulted, hence I didn't refer to these occurrence books.
athi sathu thina ke ngakhuluma ngodaba lalo occurrence book ukuthi akukho labamtshela khona ukuthi ngesikhathi bekahamba ke yokhomba ke lapho ke hamba nomnumzana uColonel Khadebe ukuthi nake washaya ke lapho ke uma ngakepha uma ngabe ukusikhuluma ngodaba lolu ke le confession kulawa khuluma khona ukuthi nake washaya umnumzana lapho ke uColonel Mboto ke ngaphambi ukuthi nake enze kodaba lwakhe le confession kungakho bagcinize kungakho bekakhuluma egciniza kodaba lolana le confession iqala ke ukuthi akukho la kubhaliwe khona ukuthi umsola uqaqala washaywa ngaphambi kokuthi ke enze i-confession. Kepha kuma sikhuluma ngodaba lolu ke lo pointing out noma udaba lokukhomba ke khona ke lapho ke umnumzana uMnisi akakhulumile ngokujulile ekuthizeni komsola lapho ke washaywa.
That's my response, my lord.
Thank you, Brigadier. Are you then saying, Brigadier, that as and when the allegations of assault surfaced, you never went to have a look at the Alberton OB just to verify if there were any signs, there were any injuries that accused person could have sustained in the investigation of the case in its entirety, and then you seeing this entry for the first time? Pardon? What I'm saying is he then saying that as and when the allegations of assault surfaced, assault on accused number one surfaced, he never went on to have a look on this OP entry which relates to the pointing out. He only concentrated on the OP entries which were relating to the confession.
But he is shooting his cat is such a car, open leli ke la usona awukaze ubukeke manota balolo pointing out uthi umsola ke washawa ke yini noma akaza ashwa yi ashawe kepha kona manota bale confession kulabo ugqinize khona ke futhi ubuke khona ukuthi le nkulumo leli qhamukile ezokuthi umsola uqala ke washawa kula kade ugqinize khona ke ubuka ke mayana nodaba le confession,
such that he is seeing this entry for the first time.
Usuthi lapho kona usuthi uyaqala nqa namuhla nje ukubona ke malana udaba lolu lwale entry.
So no, the answer is that's not correct, my lord. It's not what I'm saying. So let me deal with it in that sequence. In the collaboration process after the pointing out, as I indicated, my lord, one of the things that I did was to visit the station myself, and I think I may have dealt with this part. And the copies of the exhibit that Advocate Minisi is referring me to in the docket that we disclosed to the defense is marked A148. That is exactly that OP from Alberton that indicates that it was handed in under Phosphorus case 636 of 10/2014 with no injuries, and subsequently then booked out by Kenneth Adv, booked back again with no injuries, and then booked out by Sergeant Mohane. So I saw it then as part of the investigation. That is why in the docket it's index 148. It was much earlier. My statements, the indexing, my lord, it's over 300 if you look at these volumes. So that was right at the beginning. So I saw it then, I took copies, and they were filed in the docket.
Athi lapho cha lona iqiniso lelo ukuthi lo daba lokho le statement uyaqala ukusibona njengamanje la ngaphambi kwenkantolo athatha iqiniso ngoba ke statement lesike wanika ke ithimba labameli ke lapho ke wawenza ama copy bese babanika ke ithimba labameli ke futhi libhalile ngombhalo uthi A148 la kade esho khona ukuthi la kade nake khuma khona ngodaba lolu olwenza noma udaba lolu lama occurrence book ngesikhathi umsola kade bemkhipha ngaphakathi kwesikhumulo amaphoyisa esithizeni benikeza kwesikhumulo samaphoyisa esithizeni ke lapho ke futhi ngesikhathi kade ahamba kanono Sergeant Mohane khona ke lapho ke kula kade kula khona kubhaliwe futhi ngesikhathi esithi ahamba nomnumzana oGadebe futhi umnumzana kombotho kula kubhaliwe khona ke futhi ngesikhathi ethe kubhala kulama entra khona ke akukho la kubhaliwe khona ukuthi umsola uqala ke washaya.
Now, the second time, my lord, that we had to visit this exercise was when the original OBs were then requested and presented to this court for the purpose of a trial within trial. And the same OB from this station, the original one now, was obviously presented, and I had to assist in making arrangement that such OBs are collected. So that was now the second encounter with this entry, insofar as Alberton is concerned, and Valeria.
Athi lapho ke isikhathi sesibili ke ngesikhathi bekabuka udaba lolu lama OB ukuthi kungesikhathi khona ke inkulumo ngapha nomhlanje icala ngaphakathi kwecala lapho khona bekhuluma khona ukuthi bafuna ke ama original wala ma copy ke lapho ke yathina kula khona kwahamba khona walekelela ethizeni ngathola ke ama originals wala ma copy ethizeni kaqhamuke nawo noma awalethe ngaphambi kwenkantolo.
And second to the last, my lord, I've said during the process now, in the entire process, be it this time or during the time of a pointing out or during the regular visit, I did not see an entry that indicated accused number 2 was assaulted. Even on the day when he made such assertions to the presiding officer that he was assaulted by the police officers or SAPD from SAPD Silverton. Even on that day when we conducted investigation in the occurrence books and subsequently the prison, there was no corroboration or independent evidence that we could find that support that assertion.
athi mina nodaba lakamsola uqala ke la kade athi thina washaya khona ke futhi nesikhathi ade sibenza kusearch uqala labo uqala eqaleni kuyefika esikhathini samanje akukho la kubhaliwe khona ngaphansi ko-currency ukuthi ke umsola uqala ke washaya ke lapho ke futhi la kade khona ngaphambi kusenkantolo ukuthi washaya amaphoyisa ke noma ithimba leziphoyisa laseSilverton akukho la kubhaliwe khona ke nodaba lolo ukuthi yena ke washaya.
Now, lastly, my lord, when I say to Adv Minisi, I'm dealing with it now. I don't mean in a sense of it being the first time me having sight of it or commenting on it, because I think I testify about it. I was simply saying, in a manner, the way he's leading me. We only dealt with the assault insofar as his arrest, leading to the confession of Colonel Mboto, where it's alleged that he's being assaulted, which is not true. And in response to that, I dealt with the OBs, dealing with those circumstances up to the 1st of June 2020, when he went to make his first appearance in court. And I'm saying now that we are now moving to the pointing out, which also has details OB as we are dealing with them, that it is the first time, not the first time seeing them, but first time responding in relation to these OBs.
athi ke mana nodaba lolu ke lokuthi na ke bayakhoma khona kanjalo mana nodaba lo currency book la kade umsola uqala bekahamba khona ke yokhomba khona ke kuqala bekhuluma ngalo ke lodaba lolu la ngaphambi kokusenkantolo ngoba ke ngesikhathi kade ke amphenya noma ngesikhathi kade amhola ke ngemibuzo kommelweni kuqala ke ukukhuluma ngodaba lolu lo pointing out ke phaqala kade akhuluma ngodaba lwani udaba lo confession futhi ngesikhathi lo confession ngesikhathi esibekahamba khona ke njalo ke kuze kwafika ke ilanga la ngeyiwanza kaJune ngomnyaka ka2020 ngesikhathi lesi beqala kuvela ngaphambi kwenkosi enkantolo athi qala kade bekhuluma ngodaba lolu ke kepha bakaze bakhuluma ngodaba lolu ke lo pointing out.
That's my response, my lord.
Thank you, Brigadier. My lord, I'm requesting an adjournment for lunchtime. Thank you.
What's your time, Mr. Louis?
7 minutes past 1, my lord.
Okay. 2 o'clock.
Parliament.